They were stuck with David Hogg until the next election cycle, or they changed the rules because Democrats love to change the rules. They did it to Bernie. They did it to RFK. They love to change the rules at the last minute. In fact, they did it to Hillary twice. That they changed the rules at the last minute to Hillary Clinton, and they did it to Bernie, and they did it to RFK, and they did it to David Hogg. After the fact, after the election, they changed the rules, and then they said, "Oh, yeah, you were elected, but you're not elected. You were elected by the members of the Democratic Party, but that doesn't count. So you're not the vice chairman. You don't have a right to have access to the donor base. You don't have a right to pull millions of dollars to March for Our Lives and your private personal income stream. And you have to run again." He already ran once. It's an election. He had competition. He had to run for it. And they said, "No, you got to run again." Even though they already told him, "You're not going to win. Doesn't matter if you run or not. If you run again, fantastic, you're going to lose. Spend as much money as you want. You're not going to win because you're being kicked out." Effectively, this was the nicest way that they could say, "We're kicking David out. We're kicking him by the ass, and we're saying goodbye. And we're not looking back. Get out of here." Because he's a grifter. Because he doesn't actually have any serious position. His answer is, if you have a chance, you can see when he was speaking to Lily Tang Williams up in New Hampshire, and she embarrassed him with one statement, with one question. Lily Tang Williams, who I've interviewed before, she's a wonderful woman. Know her, one of the most dedicated constitutionalists I have ever met, and massive advocate for the Second Amendment. I respect her a lot. And she's a naturalized citizen from China, and embarrassed David Hogg with one question. And that was at the same event that the libertarian, why am I forgetting his name now? I've interviewed him. I've met him several times in person. I've interviewed him. He ran for vice president. The libertarian vice president was in a debate with David Hogg and embarrassed him. And I could have a debate with David Hogg. I would embarrass him as well. The data that I remember from the last 20 years of talking about the Second Amendment, talking about the red flag laws, talking about mass shootings and school shootings, I have more data that I have forgotten about than David Hogg has ever remembered, because David Hogg is a grifter, in my opinion. He isn't serious. Doesn't want to help people. He wants to help himself. And if you are in a business with someone like David Hogg, who I think I have established pretty clearly now is a grifter, his history has shown that, then I have to believe that Cameron Kasky, who is a business partner with David Hogg, March for Our Lives, they work together on that. If they are working together, and you can see this man is a grifter, David Hogg, I have to question Cameron Kasky as well. I have to say that I don't think he's very serious. I think that Cameron Kasky is running for the New York 12 district, which is Jerry Nadler's district. Jerry Nadler, a Democrat who's been sitting in that office for 32 years, far too long. And just like Nancy Pelosi, just like so many Democrats, they're leaving. They're getting kicked out. They're too old, and they should have been gone a long time ago. The old guard of Democrats moving away. And now we're getting the new guard, which are people like AOC, Ilhan Omar, Anna Presley. The far left radicals are taking over the Democratic Party. And Cameron Kasky is one of those radicals. I believe I had it here. He announced himself on video He announced himself on video on social media yesterday. His platform, what is he running on? Universal health care. Well, that's a progressive issue. That's a socialist issue, and it doesn't work. Just ask Canada, ask the United Kingdom. It doesn't work. That's why they're rich come to America for health care, because universal health care doesn't work. He wants to abolish ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement. He wants open borders. He wants you to reward criminals because he feels it, because he doesn't believe in borders, because he thinks that they have a right to your stuff. Mind you, he's not letting those. He lives in Midtown Manhattan. He lives in one of the most expensive parts of New York, not just New York State, New York City. He's a wealthy kid. He's done well for himself. He's not opening up his door to take in illegal aliens. He's not housing illegal aliens. He's not buying them apartments or houses or feeding them. You are. He wants your taxes to pay for his idea. He believes in open borders. He believes in you paying for his progressive ideology. And of course, he wants to prevent gun. I love how they say this. He wants to prevent gun violence. No, he doesn't. He wants to take away your guns. He wants you defenseless. He wants you at the mercy of the government, his government, or his idea of government. He wants you defenseless so that you will obey, that you will be forced to comply because you have no other choice, which is what the Second Amendment is there for, to give you a choice so that the government can't force you to comply. Because when the government does things, they always get it wrong. Remember when the government was forcing people to comply with their medical mandates? And now we know that what they said then, what people like, what's her name? CNN, the woman, nightly news show, makes $25 million a year. God, I'm forgetting everyone's name. When the news media are telling you, oh yeah, you can't transmit the disease. You won't be affected. You're going to have a higher survival rate. Those were all lies. They were on all the news media. They were being pushed out there everywhere. And you were told, you have to obey. You're a science denier. You don't know what you're talking about. You're not a doctor. You're not a scientist. You can't read English to read the actual scientific papers that prove they were wrong.